Tao Meeting Archives, July 12th, 2015. Learning about the Tao Halfway Around the World, Part 1, by Bibi, Angola.
Let's go ahead and do the meeting beginning ritual, everyone. 起立，面向佛堂，参加三鞠躬，一鞠躬，再鞠躬，三鞠躬，参加各位点传师一鞠躬，开班一鞠躬，请坐下。Please be seated. Everyone, we have a very special presentation today. I've prevailed on Bibi to present her experience, her trip to Taiwan. So she'll tell you all about it. When I looked at the presentation from her, I saw more than 200 photos in it. And so I had to advise her that probably we will not be getting through all 200 photos in half an hour. So now that's actually not a bad thing because we can just break it up. I'm just gonna ask Bibi to proceed at her own pace, talk about each slide the way she wants to. I'll be her timekeeper. So approximately half an hour from now, I'll let her know that we should be taking a break for some Q&A. No doubt you guys will have some questions. We can then, those of you who are online, just go ahead and type it out, and we'll try to get Bibi to answer as many questions as possible. And that'll be whatever we don't finish today, we always have the next meeting to continue. So, Bibi, with that, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I am.
Please take it away.
Okay. Hi, my name is Bibi, like Derek said, and I'm really, really excited to share this fantastic trip and opportunity that we had, thanks to the temple here and so many other people literally halfway around the world coordinating this opportunity for us to learn. Derek, I have to say firstly that it was with your your great teaching, Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, and the discipline and just showing us and teaching us, not even by saying, but just teaching us what the Tao is about by your actions, that really made this trip come together. So I really thank you first and foremost for just teaching us the concepts and the way of the Tao by your very nature, and Master Sherry and Master Chin, of course, and Master William, and the people all the way on the other side from all the various temples. They just showed us nothing but love and kindness and friendship. So with that being said, this trip was made possible, and I couldn't dare start the trip without saying that. That being said, we started from, we arrived from various locations from at LAX, most of us. I, of course, was coming in from Hawaii, and I wanted to travel with the group, and I could have gone from Hawaii, but I didn't feel it would be as much fun. So here we are in this first picture, all starting to gather, and you can see over here Master Sherry's husband. There's Master Sherry, and actually this is not LAX. This is when we had just arrived after a long 13-hour trip, which turned out to be awesome. We were warned. I was really glad we were. Like, it's a really, really, really long trip, and it was. They provided us with slippers when we got there, and we were also excited that the 13 hours. Well, it was 13 hours, but it was a great trip. And here we are with Master Chen and others all starting to get together. Again, this is us just gathering. I have to just, show us all coming together. The minute we got off the plane, we started meeting up with other people, like, oh, what's your name? And it was just had, just showing you how we started out. And again, here we are. And now we've got names, and then we're getting us ready for the big bus. And here it is, the big bus. This became our traveling, our traveling unity bus. And when it pulled up, people knew it was us. There were several of these buses, and the way we would identify ourselves was we had to always know what the license plate was on the back of the bus, and we'd take a picture of it or something in case we got lost. And we traveled on this bus every day, or most days, and it was awesome. Water inside, air conditioned, of course. And there's our driver. Again, there's the front of the bus. Notice the curtains and things. It was really quite nice. And that backdrop that you see here, that is the view outside of the, Derek, you could perhaps help me pronounce it, the Zongshu Temple, Z-H-O-N-G temple. And that's the backdrop that we saw for the past, the first 4 days that we were there. It's just beautiful. They even had a sign, Tao visitors of Los Angeles, Great Tao Temple, which was awesome. They had a sign made for us to welcome us. And this was very typical of everywhere we went, was that type of roll out the red carpet. People from the States are visiting us. Welcome. And you can see Master Sherry's sons there, Eric and I think Alan in the front. And then we also had Yo-Yo, and we had other young people. I think these were the youngest students, kids that went, which was awesome because they got a chance to experience this trip, and there we all are. So it was a pretty nice amount of people that went. And that, by the way, that picture was in front of the Zongshu Temple. This particular master, I looked for his name. I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name. I should know. He's 92 years old, and he had a cold. And he said his position was, I cannot be in bed when the people are here from the United States. I will come and speak. And his voice was very strong. I would not have known he had a cold. He was strong, and he was telling us the importance of studying the Tao and cultivating the Tao, and telling us about past people and things. And it was beautiful. We took a picture with him, and we spoke. 92 years old, and it was just beautiful. This is the long and winding road that we walked up, some of us every day, or in some form or fashion we used them. You can't really use this road. You can't see these little, they're not steps, but it was a great walk. And this is, again, the Zongshu Temple where we stayed, and it was huge. It's a huge, huge temple. And the inside was, as you will see shortly, was just magnificent. The detail of the architecture, and over here on the side were steps that wound up to a daily walk also, where in the morning the morning women said, if you want, we do Tai Chi in the morning if you care to join us. And some of us did, and that was a great experience because I've always heard of that, heard of, doing Tai Chi in the morning, how it is a ritual that's done. And I studied Tai Chi maybe 20 years ago, and I knew the short form, and it just came back to me, but we weren't doing that. We were doing different forms, and it was awesome to just see how, I mean, it felt like a dream, like we're really, really doing this. And it just seemed as if the women were making sure, and the men, you know, every opportunity that we would get the most out of every day, every second that we were there, they were just pouring their knowledge and wisdom out to us and welcoming us. It was just breathtaking. This is again just showing and sharing some of the elaborate altars that were just became almost a common thing to see wherever we went. We would, you know, see beautiful, detailed work like this. And it just began to make me start saying to myself, whoa, we've really stepped into a culture, a people, a way of life where respect for the Tao is just, it's just incredible. It was everything I saw, it just kept making me more and more aware of what we were witnessing, what we were seeing. It was just, again, these are just, I'm just showing you the detail. This huge vase, I call it a vase or vat, is outside the entrance of the Zongshu temple, and I just took a close-up of it to show the detail of it. This is Brian Yu, Y-U. He was our tour guide for the trip, for the entire trip. He was absolutely awesome. He made sure upon arrival that you guys need to hydrate. We're like, what? Boom, here's water. And he immediately took us to, you know, lunch at his parents' temple, and they rolled the red carpet out. I mean, it was amazing. They literally were lined up in a straight line as the bus pulled up, and they were clapping and singing as we got out of the bus. I could hardly talk about the respect that was shown to us. It was just so overwhelming. Brian also, the reason I show you his picture is because he volunteered his own time. He's a tour guide for a company, but his priority is to cultivate the Tao, spread the Tao to others. So he spends his time more so learning about the Tao than getting different jobs. His job for him, is, he has told us, was to just spread the Tao. And the name tag on that you see around there, his neck, he found out our names, and the next day, all of us were provided with English and Taiwanese name tags. It was awesome. They're very kind of fancy. He made them himself. Again, he just left nothing out. This is another group shot, and Derek, as you reminded us, you will be taking group shots. So we took group shots a lot. It was as if the people were saying, we are going to document this trip, so get used to it. So I began taking pictures myself because I enjoyed it as well. Sometimes we had which I will show you. Let me see if he's here. There's the picture. I'll find it. Oh, here, okay. Our actual person that was our official photographer, oh gosh, now I put my names, is right here. Gosh, his name. But this is a group shot. I'll just say that. Okay, on the next day out, we just went around, and this is just a temple. They were everywhere. As Master Sherry was telling us, she would lecture along the way and also translate. She would do it in both languages, showing us that in the middle of a street, there'll be a building, but then there's your history right in the middle. It's just constantly mixed, a mixture of a temple and a modern day building. It was just, this is a shopping area where we went to, and I believe it was called the Shi Lin Market, SHI Lin Market, and just showing you how it was in the daytime. At nighttime, we were told in fact, we did go back at night. It's very, very different, very full. We were lucky to be able to walk like this, but at night it's different. And I had to say, Master Sherry, let me take a picture. She said, oh, okay. So I snapped a shot. And as you can see, the little dog decided to photobomb the pictures I was taking. This just down the street here. And I captured Mark as we were going in. Hi, Mark. We're going in one of the temples. I believe this was in Taipei. And this was the outside of the temple. Again, I couldn't help but look at the detail of the temples and the work that went into creating the architecture is just awesome. This is actually a very historic temple. This was I can't remember the name. I have it. It'll come out. I have my little notes on the side, but okay. Again, the detailed architecture of these temples. Look at that. And this was, again, it was the Longsham, Longsham, the Longsham Temple. And this is in the middle of the city. You'll see something, like this elaborate. It was just shocking. Notice the motorcycles all outside, because we were told that to own a car, I think in US dollars, it's like $20,000 a year for a parking space. So people started resorting to motorcycles and bicycles, because you can't own a car unless you have a garage or have a parking space, and you have to buy those. So everybody used motorcycles and bicycles, and of course cars too, but they weren't used as much. Again, this is the backdrop that was breathtaking every day from the temple. When we drove back, I couldn't help but take shots again, and showing you the steep. There was an elevator inside the temple, but because it's huge, the temple was absolutely huge. But in the meantime, on the outside, there was a lot that did not entail elevators. So every day, people got their walk-in. I really loved that idea. You really got to walk a lot, and there were trails that you could take. This is Yoli, and Yola is still there, as a matter of fact. She extended her stay. She's going to stay until September, and she stopped as we were on our way to our dormitory. Our dorm was back there, and that's again the backdrop of a walk up here, way up into you know, like a wooded area, a nice walk. And that's Yola. Yola is so fascinated by being there that she's a doctorate student in environmental science, whereby she was going to be studying how to have purified water for third world countries. She lived in Belize for a while. Her father's father is Chinese, and her mother is from Belize. So she grew up partly in Belize and partly in the United States. However, upon coming to this trip and talking to her more, she's actually has decided to put her studies on hold in order to study more about the Tao in Taiwan. And when I left, she was telling me she was considering becoming an ESL teacher, and people were showing her the ropes on how to do that. You know, she was totally fascinated by being there, as was I and Mark and Jeff and everyone else. Okay, this is, she liked to be called Yo-Yo. This little girl was just like the little button of the trip, the little apple of everyone's eye, and the other kids, about 4 kids, they just stole our hearts. It was so beautiful to have young people with us, you know, little, I think she's 10, 11, little people with us, 11-year-olds, because they're getting a trip of a lifetime, and then only to return to the States. So she's getting really an in-depth look at what it is, and it's just beautiful because you can't help but be that much more excellent after a trip like this, and especially at such a young age. This is a view of where we did our morning rituals. One of the rooms, grand rooms inside the temple. Again, this temple was enormous. The Zhongzhon Shangshu Temple, and we had other groups later join us from other temples for a grand meeting after we had a memorial ceremony, which I'll show you one picture from. But look at when can I bring that up? Look at the detail. I mean, from the ceiling on down to the giant Buddhas painted in just gold, and our cushions and it was just breathtaking. It was huge, and we walked in and we were like, oh my goodness, it was just awesome. Again, we had to get a picture. They lined us up and said, we have to get a picture here of all of us with our name tags, and every day we wore our white blouses, black pants, and black socks and shoes. We were asked to wear every day. And again, the detail of the, it was just breathtaking. Oops, sorry. I don't know how to go back. Here it is. I missed something. Oh, I just took a shot of Master Shasta. Let me get a shot here. She let me. She goes, Bibi, I thought you were going to take a picture with me. I said, oh, I wanted you. So we took a picture later together, but I didn't bother. Put myself. Again, the architecture. I forgot how long they said it took to construct this temple. They were giving us an orientation and a detail of how each part was put together. I mean, it is just incredible to see this temple. There's an outside view. I tried to get a better shot. Over here, inside here, you would see huge air conditioners and huge machines that kept the the, I don't know, the laundry room or something, or they were just huge. And there's like an extra parking lot over here, and it was incredible. And it was built down into the mountains, and there I go again, sorry. And it's just it's awesome. And again, before we left, we took a shot showing again the backdrop of where we were. You have to picture that we're from that building from the temple that I just showed you, looking out, that's our view, those mountains every day. So imagine waking up, brushing your teeth, putting on clothes, going outside, and that's what you see before you do Tai Chi and get ready for the morning ritual, and whereby, as we get ready for the morning ritual, they'd have fresh washcloths waiting for us, and we'd wash our hands for the morning ritual and then go. This is just a shot of us. You see this cane here. It's really like a walking stick. It's not a cane. Actually, well, it is a cane, but it was just used because we were going up steep. You see Master Sherry has one. Not that nothing's wrong with using a cane, but they didn't really need a cane, but there was a cane. They gave us various canes just for walking up the steep walk every day. It was just incredible. Here I am kind of fooling around. They said, smile. I'm ah! So I was just so excited. This is another group of from a different temple. Again, I can't remember the name. We visited maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 temples or more, maybe 10 temples in total, but we were doing, the lectures that were given to us were in English and Taiwanese, and here Yoli is being shown. Here, you'll sit here, and then the next person and the next person. So we were getting seated for the English version, and their attire was a little different than ours. I ended up buying one of these blouses, and I didn't know any better. We were washing our blouses every day, for example, and I didn't know what I was ordering, for example, and ours that we normally use looked like this. And then when mine was brought to me, it looked like this. And I was like, oh. So I didn't know that I kind of had a different one by mistake. So I just took off the top part and kept going because we couldn't wash it fast enough. It was so hot. So I brought an extra one. This was an exhibit that we attended. And this was in the, how do you say this, the National Dr. Sun Yat-sen Memorial Hall. And Dr. Sun Yat-sen was a Tao cultivator who dedicated his entire life to the Tao, and that when he first got introduced to the Tao, he became so immersed in studying that within 1 year, he had opened up about 12 temples or something like that in 1 year. And like in the second year, he doubled that. He had people from all over the world, and he was just a dedicated worker. And this national Dr. Sun Yat-sen Memorial Hall was recently finished to dedicate him, and I obviously cannot read all the things here yet, but we had an English version, and we had, I'm just showing you the murals, they were beautifully done. We had a narrator who also ate with us. I think I have a picture of him here. I'm showing you, and that's a picture of Dr. Sun Yat-sen there. And he was very simple, and he had the money to live much differently had he chosen. And here is how he lived. and they had it roped off, a duplication of his life,
Hey,
exactly.
Bibi.
Yes.
We're at the top of the hour. Um, we've it looks like we've gone through just shy of 40 slides.
Okay.
40 slides, yes. So that's actually not too bad. We're 1/5 of the way through.
Oh,
Um, so great job, and can you take some questions?
yes.
So everybody, there's still 160 more slides in this presentation. So we're gonna need to invite Bibi back for a continuation about this trip down the road. For now, though, uh, we certainly have other people who are on the trip. Mark is sitting next to me, so in a moment I'll go to Mark and ask him if he has any thoughts to contribute. In the meantime, and also we have people who are seasoned travelers to Taiwan. Um, Chris has been to Taiwan quite a few times, has lived there for like a year, if I recall correctly, 2 years. I know the girls, Celeste and Crystal, have been back to Taiwan quite a few times, right, ladies? And so probably a lot of this is not unfamiliar to you. So for those of you who have not had that experience, the big bus that Bibi was talking about, that's a pretty comfortable way to travel, especially because Taiwan gets so hot and humid this time of the year. I remember going on the same trip, in one of the similar big buses. I just could not wait to get back into the bus for the air conditioning. So probably you guys had a similar experience. And the bus itself is highly elevated, and the space below is for the luggage. And there's actually quite a bit of space. What did you think, Mark?
Well, which part? uh, I definitely concur with what Bibi said about the graciousness and the hospitality of the people. You're right about the bus and it being like a safe, cool environment. You did recommend that we bring hankies and my first thought was, no, it should be a towel, not a hanky. Yeah, but it was a chance in a lifetime to do this trip. And unfortunately, you've only seen our first I-kuan temple here out of the rest of the trip. So there's more to come.
There is definitely a lot more to come. Also, when we went on the trip previously, in the back of the bus, there was actually enough space. We were actually able to have quite a few Dao discussions on the trip. So that was a good time. Also, Bibi, the 90-plus-year-old Grandmaster that spoke with you, that was Grandmaster Chen, and he is someone that I consider to be a genuine Tao sage, a living, breathing Tao sage.
Yes.
Not at all well known in the rest of the world, but the way he lives his life is definitely something that I admire greatly. It's only too bad that he doesn't speak any English at all, so he's not really able to communicate with you guys. But he has a real, genuine understanding of the Tao. He delivered lectures on the Tao Te Ching, and his lectures have been collected into books on Tao Te Ching commentaries. He is, some of you know Joey Chen here at the temple, who comes to the temple sometimes. He is the, Grandmaster Chen is the grandfather. And the remarkable thing, what I hope you guys will begin to start to recognize when you meet some of these very highly attained, very spiritual beings is that they are incredibly humble. So Grandmaster Chen, despite the position that he occupies, he never imposes on anyone. He's extremely approachable. Will talk to anybody. He certainly sees everyone here as an equal and also as a member of the family. And the more time you spend in his company, the more you begin to understand what it really means to be a genuine Tao sage. It is not someone who speaks in riddles. So like Grandmaster Chen, when he talks, he's very plain spoken. You can easily, if you know Chinese, if you know Mandarin, Taiwanese, you can easily understand what he's talking about. There's never anything that sounds like a puzzle or a riddle. And the way he lives, extremely healthy. He walks every day. Certainly a complete vegetarian. I am hoping that not too long from now, we're all going to be celebrating his 100th birthday together. So I wanted to say that about Grandmaster Chen.
Wow, 100.
And go ahead, Bibi.
I just have to say that you were quite well known there yourself. Just to let you know, when your name was mentioned, one person said, "Derek Lin, he's my idol." They love your lectures, and they said, "Oh, you're so lucky to be able to be there with him sometimes and to listen to his lectures." They really had a lot of respect and love for you there, Derek. Also, just to let you know.
Now, idol is a big word. You're making me think that I have a possible career as a pop star in Taiwan.
I'm just quoting their words.
So the other thing that I wanted to mention is that Taiwan is similar to other parts of Asia. If you go to Japan, you notice something very similar, and that's the juxtaposition between the very old and the very new. So you would oftentimes see this very ancient-looking ornate temple in the middle of a city, with motorcycles parked in front of it, and so that always strikes me as such an interesting combination, of tradition and also modern times. And one last thing I wanted to mention, Bibi, from your presentation, is that you guys went to Shilin is what you said, and that's yes. That is the place where, as a little kid, that's where I waited for the school bus every day, every morning, to go to school. So,
oh my God. Really?
I don't know if you guys noticed, but when you went there, there's a huge bullet train station. It looks like it's out of science fiction. It's got this big construction, and it looks very futuristic. Yes. Certainly that did not exist when I was a little kid waiting for the school bus, but that's the place where I would commute to school every morning. So brings back a lot of memories.
Wow.
One last thing to mention is that Dr. Sun, Sun Zhongshan in Chinese, he's considered to be the founding father of China, of modern China, and he's considered to be that both by the government in Taiwan and also the government in Beijing. So we have here in the United States, we have George Washington. So he's analogous to that, to the Chinese people. So
I don't know if there's truth to the story, but there's at least some myth that he spent 2 weeks in South Pasadena at the property that's now the Oneata Church. Yeah, I don't know.
I know that Dr. Sun, he did travel widely. The reason was because this is during the final days of the Qing dynasty. He was looking to get different nations of the world to recognize the legitimacy of a new Chinese democracy that he hoped would replace the Qing dynasty. So prior to his time, it was emperor after emperor, basically, essentially just that imperial dynasty system from one generation to the next, from one century to the next. He wanted to create this Chinese democracy to replace that. Today, the dream of Chinese democracy lives on only in Taiwan, not anywhere else in the world. So certainly not in mainland China. So that is the reason why I say that that's a sort of a spot of brightness spot of hope for the Tao to continue on into the future. So yes, indeed, it is possible for him to have been here in Southern California and Pasadena. Let's go ahead and do the meeting closing ritual. 起立，面向佛堂，持架深鞠躬，一鞠躬，再鞠躬，三鞠躬，持架各位点传世一鞠躬，结班一鞠躬。Okay, guys, we are done.
Join the Tao meeting live to participate in the questions and commentary. For more information, go to http://taoism.net/tao/connect-online.